Did you know it was approximated that 62% of the UK population were gamers in 2021? A big jump from 39% in 2019. You're listening to the Xbox Hub Podcast, the official podcast of the TheXboxHub.com. For all the latest Xbox news, reviews, videos and opinions, make sure you visit the TheXboxHub.com. But for now, settle down, get comfy, and open your ears for some podcast delights. Hello, welcome to the Xbox Hub Official Podcast, episode 134. My name is Gareth Briley. I'm going to be your host. And on my virtual left is Mr. James Burks. How you doing, James?
Hello there. Not too bad, thank you.
Good.
How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. And on my virtual right... All right, James. Calm down. On my virtual right is Mr. Paul Renshaw. How you doing, Paul?
Hey, I'm doing very well, thank you. Not like me to pad my part, unlike James, so I'll just keep quiet.
Good. Don't pad your part. And on my virtual opposite is Mr. Darren Edwards. How you doing, Darren?
Hello, Gareth. I'm very well, thank you. Although already on edge, as this might be our final ever podcast, so we'll see how we go.
Don't be so negative. Don't be so negative.
Paul,
it'll be fine.
You padding your patches set the tone. I'm
sorry. Let's start by seeing what we've done. What's new, Pussycats, this week?
Whoa.
Yeah. Darren, what have you been doing this week?
Oh, I feel like I've all been drinking. So last week, viewers, listeners may have remembered me saying I'm having a throwback weekend of a hen do and a carvery. So the hen do was great fun, and then the carvery was an absolute disaster. So we booked it near us, got there, booked a table at 6, got there, and the young lady said, "Well, just see if I've got a table for you." Well, that rang alarm bells straight away because I'd booked. And then she found us one, and the queue for the carvery bit was, and it's a big pub, was right round the bar. So we sat down, and I said to Ryan, "I'm not waiting in that. We'll just order something from the menu." And he said, "Oh, we can go elsewhere." And I said, "No, I'm too hungover and I'm too annoyed. I'm gonna sulk and I'm gonna have some food here." And then immediately booked another carvery for Tuesday, just gone, which went much better. And then we went to see License to Kill at the cinema, inspired by Dobbo's viewing of GoldenEye at the cinema. So we salvaged the situation. So a game of two halves for me this week.
Yeah, good. Good. Carvery, as we said last time. I can't believe it
was great.
Not wrong with a carvery.
No,
you can't. I'm going every week from now on.
There's a lot wrong with the carvery.
It's not 1986 to be start with.
Well,
but
that and the fact that
sometimes.
Well, yeah. It'd be good. But what about the fact that you get to a carvery and everybody's mauling everything and you just think, I'd quite like some food that's only been touched by the chef?
Oh, yeah. You got to go
no,
first.
the chefs serve them. They don't get to take it with their hands, Paul.
Oh, well, it's obviously different in Nottingham because it's just kind of, they throw it out of the hatch and you have to catch it.
We've got cutlery and everything, you'd be amazed.
No way.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're so posh.
I know.
Wow. Good. Paul, what about you? What's been going on?
Well, I have two bits of news. Number one, as regular listeners will know, I am a very keen fisherman. So we went fishing on Saturday. We decided we were only going to count carp. Anything else that we caught would just not added to the total. And between three of us, in 5 hours, we caught 97 carp.
Jesus.
Which I thought was quite impressive.
Yeah.
And then in other exciting news today, I've playing up to my second oldest man on the podcast. I've had a fall in the warehouse. It was kind of my own fault because I was walking backwards carrying a great big stepladder and fell over a trolley and then hit the deck, and then the ladder hit me. So, yeah, I've had a really good day.
Oh, no.
But other than that, everything is awesome. I don't appear to be too injured. I'll probably not be able to move in the morning or something, but I'm all right, guys. But
Okay.
thanks for your concern. Yes, I think so.
You
Good.
remind me of one of those claims adverts, where they like slip over a ladder in a warehouse and then they rub their knee and the concerned colleagues gather round. I imagine it played out like that.
No, it just sort of, I hit the deck, and then the woman that had put the trolley there, who I swear must have been some kind of ninja, because I didn't hear her push this trolley up.
No.
She sort of came out and said, "Oh, I didn't think you were going to go that way." And I was like, "Yeah, cheers, love." I'm lying on the floor with a ladder on top of me, looking like something out of one of these adverts. Oh yeah,
no.
sorry about that. Yeah.
If you're too
Anyway.
poorly, Paul, you don't have to do the quiz.
Well, I'm thinking that the concussion will add something to the performance.
Good.
So
Oh, no, that's
we
excuse.
shall see.
Good. Great. James, what about you? What's your week been like?
Can I just ask, is counting carp like counting sheep? Before you fall asleep?
No, mate.
Okay.
Because these carp, they might not be massive. I think the biggest we had was about 10 pounds, about probably 2 foot long. But when you hook them, they try and pull you into the lake, so there's no chance of you going to sleep.
Crikey. Exciting
Yeah.
stuff.
Good.
It is exciting.
Yeah, glad you brought that, James. Right, go on, James.
Yeah,
what
sorry.
are you doing? What's
It
your
wasn't
week?
worth it in the end.
Stop padding.
I watched a bit of football this weekend.
Oh yeah.
I think you all know what I'm going to talk about. Man United versus
Late-
Atletico Madrid.
Was it Leighton Orient?
Pre-season friendly.
Wow.
No, it was the England versus Germany game in the Women's Euros finals. And a very, very well-played match.
Yeah, it was good, wasn't it?
International England team, for a change.
Yeah.
Their tactics never gave up. It was nice to see.
Yeah, it was nice to see. Yeah.
And the only downside, and the only thing that I hope you get rid of from women's football, is goal music. If you have to play a dodgy tune from the clubs after a goal, then it's just not worth doing.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's fantastic.
No.
Well done to them.
Well done, brilliant. It was nice not to see a man with a firework up his bum again. That was a nice thing to see outside Wembley.
Where is fishing?
What? Eh? Were you watching a different game?
Yeah, I was up in the last
It was
Euro
much more
final.
civilised though on that point, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They were saying the crowds were more civilised than
Yeah.
the male game, so that's nice to hear.
Yeah. Good. What have I done? I'm just going to recommend a TV program, which is been on for a while, but it's on I'm watching on the third season. Atlanta, Donald Glover, his TV series. If you haven't seen it, it's fantastic. It's the most strangest, weirdest thing, but very funny, but also like a horror, like a piece of art. It's just like, you see it, haven't you, James? You saw the first 2 seasons, didn't you?
It's very hard to explain, but it goes to so many areas and does everything really well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny, it's dark, it's good.
Yeah, and the third season follows it again. It goes off into different stories. It's really clever. It's really brilliantly done. So if you haven't seen it, and the director is amazing by Hero, I forgot his second name. He's brilliant, and yeah, it's really really recommend it.
Is it all set underwater?
There's a joke from the 80s.
Atlanta being...
Oh,
Atlanta.
Sorry, I thought you said Atlantis.
Yes. Wow.
There you go.
Unbelievable.
I think jokes are better when you explain them.
Yeah.
Do you not read the notes for this show?
There's notes. What are you on about?
Paul, what have you been playing? Oh, let's start with Darren, because Darren's been playing a couple of big ones here. Let's start with Darren. Games.
Oh, we can have an argument with Darren.
Oh,
I'm
good.
looking forward to it.
What do you want to start with, Darren?
Paul, let's not live up to our married reputation on the podcast. We argue like an old couple, but we love each other really. So I'm quite lucky this month. I've got some big games coming up. So the first one I've been playing was Turbo Golf Racing, which James and Paul and Neil and Richard helped me with, and we had to go on. Well, we had to go initially last week, and we couldn't get the get matchmates up, so we tried again on Monday, and it all worked nicely, which was good. So it's a little bit like Rocket League, but golf. Basically, is the easiest way to describe it. You are on a fairway, if you like, suspended in the clouds, and you've got to get to the finish first. But instead of just crossing the line, you've got to sink your golf ball in the cup, I believe it's called, technical jargon, to win. So you play in a little like beach buggy style car. You can boost, glide, you can bunny hop, and different sections of the course emulate a golf course. You've got like sandy bunkers or grassy roughs and stuff like that. There are around 30 tracks, I think, now, and it's available on Game Pass today, and you can play online and just randomly matchmake against people around the world, which is the biggest kind of pull for it. But you can also play solo and kind of compete against the clock and earn all sorts of customizational little bits like spoilers. And my favourite is a beach ball skin for the golf ball that you're batting along the track. So I think it's really good fun. It's one of those games that it's perfect for Game Pass. Will build a solid player base. You can jump in for an hour or two and just have some fun with it, really. So I think it's going to do pretty well, if I'm being honest.
Right. Big fan, Paul?
I love this game almost as much as I love Rocket League. Unfortunately, I am to Rocket League what Pee Wee Herman is to powerlifting. So it didn't go well for me. There was much swearing and, lots of sarcastic comments from James, of all people. I mean, you don't expect it from James. I always thought he was like the friendly face of the Xbox Hub, but I've seen a different side to him this week.
You're right on yourself, Paul, really. You put the ball in the rough and then go, why did it go so slow?
No, I didn't say, why does it go so slow? I said, why does it just suddenly screech to a halt? When you're doing a racing game, part of the idea is you anticipate where the ball's going to go. And it goes into this grass that's about 1 millimetre longer than the rest of it and comes to a grinding halt. So I've steered to where the ball should be, gone screaming past, and then had to use naughty words to try and get it back again. So
did anyone else have this problem?
Enjoy it.
Did anyone else have this problem that Paul was talking about?
Yeah, everybody. They're just better at hiding it. Or they don't know as many bad words.
The only thing in Paul's defence is the handling is a bit touchy.
Right.
It takes a little bit to get used to. But, as Paul said about Rocket League, it is actually, you can really transfer the skills from Rocket League into that, which is probably why I enjoyed it more. Because it's all about angles, hitting the ball at a certain angle to get it to where you want it to go, and I thought it was really good.
Okay.
It's a skill-based racing game.
Good. Okay,
Yeah.
I might give that a go.
Skill.
Yeah, I must say, just to clarify, it's still in game preview as well. So it's not the final version of the game. So they're saying they're going to update it and stuff as the weeks and months go by. But I thought it was pretty good.
Just a quick note before we go into Paul with his game. On preview, Totally Realistic Battle Simulator that was on preview. Mm-hmm. That's a full game now on Game Pass. They didn't. It didn't announce it really, did they? It was not a big announcement. Maybe I missed it. But yeah, that's on there at the moment. You can play multiplayer, and it'd be a good one to play all together. That one. Yeah, Paul, what's your game?
Hi. I'm going to talk about, we've mentioned before on this podcast about how I seem to be the tactical RPG correspondent for the TheXboxHub.com. So I got given another one this week called Strategic Mind the Pacific. Now, on paper, it sounds great. You take command of either the US or the Japanese Navy in World War II just after Pearl Harbor. And basically you have to either, you've just got to get rid of the other side, in effect. And it turns into a turn-based kind of game where you've got all these various units. You've got carriers with aircraft. You've got submarines, battleships, etc., etc. And like I say, on paper, it sounds great. And when you start playing it, the wheels quite quickly fall off because it hasn't been very well optimized for a controller. On a PC, which is where it came from in 2019, it'd be brilliant because you've got all the keys in the world. On a controller, you've got a very limited amount. There's no explanation of what does what. You just have to kind of press buttons and hope for the best. And there's no kind of strategy to it either. It's very much a kind of almost a horde mode. You travel to this various bits of the Pacific. If you're playing as the US, the Japanese then send the world's biggest fleet of ships against you. And you try and hang on and survive until you can say, yes, I've won. All in all, pretty disappointing.
No.
I've got to use the D word. So yeah, not one for the to play list, I'm afraid.
Oh no, what are you going to give it, Paul?
I did give it a 1.5.
Oh, that's hard.
I mean, the potential was brilliant.
Yeah.
The execution was rubbish.
There you go.
Choosing my words carefully.
Yeah, very good. Good, well, we won't be playing that. James, what are you playing?
Well, it's left to read with Gloom and Doom.
Oh.
A visual novel about angels and demons. Have any of you heard of it?
No, of course not.
No.
Of course not, James. It's one of your games.
No.
I can't believe you heard of a game that I'm playing.
It's almost unheard of, I know, but...
No. So basically, it's a visual novel. There's a lot of reading. But the story's about a former angel called Gloom who basically kills demons as a bit of redemption to get himself back into heaven. And on the other side of the coin is a teenager who wants to kill herself called Winona. But she's Doom. She calls herself the Doombringer. So basically, it's a bit of a story about their relationship because they meet by chance and he's got to kill her. She wants to die. But it doesn't quite work out that smoothly. It's a nice little, like, let's say, friendship that they go together. In the background, you've got demons and angels fighting against each other, and there's just a load of interesting characters in it. And the artwork's dark, but very graphic novel from the 90s kind of style.
Wow.
And the characters are really, really well drawn.
Yeah.
And if you're a 90s kid like me, there's a lot of pop culture references. Like to Sonic the Hedgehog, Gonax, Pokemon. So it's really nice to pick up on those. Yeah, it's witty. It's quite charming. It's like the name. It's very charming. And I really enjoyed it. Even though it's about suicide and depression and loneliness, it tackles it head on.
Good.
And I liked it. I gave it a 4.5.
Okay.
4. 4 out of 5.
I thought you were about to say, even though it deals with suicide and depression, I'm having the time of my life. So I thought you were going to say that.
I'm excited now.
Oh, that sounds good. That sounds good. I like these little visual novels. They're good.
It is very expensive though.
Oh, is it?
It's 30 quid.
Ooh.
And it took me about 4 hours to complete
Ooh.
it. I mean, there's multiple endings, but whether it's worth going through again, 3 different choices, it's still a lot of money.
Oh, that's really low. That's mad.
That's not a good pound to time ratio.
No.
Which is how we judge things.
Yeah. Oh, gloom and doom. If you're feeling rich, none of us are at the moment. If you feel that. Now I've played. I think I reviewed it last week, so it's been a while. But a game called Enlin: Extinction is Forever. Another cheerful piece. And in this game, you play as a fox, a vixen, and you're running away right at the start of the game from like a forest fire with all the other animals, and then you eventually end up in a sort of safe place, a warren, and you give birth to 4 pups. And then the next part of the game is almost like a survival game, but in the context of it is like you're in this kind of like environmental, it's an environmental piece of work really about environmental dangers, what's happening with, which quite relevant at the moment with forest fires, but also with kind of pollution and human things. So you have every night you go out and you have to find food for the 4 pups, and and they kind of get older, and so you go hunting. There's kind of like ways of hunting, picking up scents, and then you go back and give the food. You've got a meter. They could die of starvation if you don't do it. They could get caught in traps. You could get caught in traps. You'll be going around rubbish, and you might get things trapped in your head if you go in there too long. Humans might catch you. They might kidnap your pup. So it's like, and a hawk might come down and take one. So it's quite harrowing. So when you lose someone, you will lose someone. It's quite upsetting. And the visuals have got that kind of almost that animated Disney quality to it as well, which doesn't help matters as the pups are very cute. But it's a really good game. It's beautifully done. And the gameplay mechanics are really unusual, I think, in one way. All the kind of hunting and survival, it's a really different take. I've played lots of games as foxes before, strangely enough, and I've reviewed a few, but this has a very different feel to it. The other ones have been a very linear journey. This doesn't feel linear. It's like an open world map that you're exploring all these little areas, some are unlocked later on. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I did enjoy it. I found it quite harrowing and quite a good statement. It's quite bleak at times, but it's an important game. It's I think I gave it 4. But yeah. Any questions before we move on?
Is it all very worthy? As in, look at what humans have done to this planet.
Well, in a sense, but it's through the eyes of a fox. So it's not like there's no words in that. It's visually, you can kind of see it.
The fox doesn't talk to you?
No.
Do the kids not say, "What's for tea, Mum"?
No.
I don't want it then. No. Not sold.
No, you're not. It's not for you, Paul. It's definitely not for you.
I don't know what you mean. You seem to think I'm some sort of one-dimensional game-playing entity.
I think the words. Do you think is it too worthy?
Too worthy. It just, you know what? I'm so sick of having the environment shoved down my throat every time you turn the telly, the radio, the games on.
I know.
Sometimes you just think, yes, I know the world's doomed. Do I have to think about it right now?
I think that's been the problem for the last 30 years, Paul. That's probably why we're in the position. That attitude of like, do we have to think about it? Let's think about it tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
Good. Let's go on to something lighter though, with Darren's next game, which is lighter.
Oh yeah. So this is brilliant. 2 Point Campus. So I don't know whether I can call it a sequel to 2 Point Hospital really, because it plays exactly the same in terms of the game engine, but it's almost like it's got a completely new skin on it. So it's out today also on Game Pass, which is a pretty big coup really for Game Pass this month, because you could argue that apart from a handful of games, there isn't a lot on the release schedule. So yeah, if you've played 2 Point Hospital, then you'll know exactly what to expect. But for those who haven't, it's a kind of a sim management game, but you run a university, well, several campuses within the 2 Point County area, whereas before you were running hospitals. So you have to look after students, and it's a little bit different in that it runs on a yearly cycle, and you can choose what subjects to teach each year. And then you have to build the specific facilities, and then all the other stuff that comes with it, like making sure there's adequate toilet facilities. You can build dormitories this time around where the students stay, making sure they're fed, watered, entertained, kept happy, you name it. There's stats and stuff everywhere. But in a 2 Point way, it's quite easy to get into. It's not too overwhelming, even though there's a lot of information. The button mapping, again, is pretty good. It feels quite comfortable for the Xbox. It's not too clunky. So I'm really enjoying playing it. And I think because it's on Game Pass as well, there's no reason why people shouldn't check it out, whether you played the first one or not. But as I say, I suppose it is a sequel, but it's hard to label it a sequel because it's just a different skin on the same game engine, essentially. But it's still really good. It's still got its charm. It's, there's an item in every room. You can put hand sanitizers everywhere if you like, which is kind of a nod to COVID and stuff. There's loads of little details that'll make you smile. The radio is as funny as ever with some kind of funky songs, and even callbacks to 2 Point Hospital itself as well, because it's set in the same universe. So I love it. I think it's great. I can sit there and spend hours on it and not realise where the time's gone. So I would definitely download it and check it out.
Brilliant. Will do. James, you played 2 Point Hospital. You reviewed it, I think, for us, didn't you?
I did. I think we reviewed the base game. I think Darren did the Jumbo edition.
That's right, yeah.
And yeah, it's very silly, but it's really addictive. Like Darren said, you really can lose time. You can just play it for hours and hours. So if it's anything like that, I'll be all over it.
And I think you said, does the difficulty level kind of ramp up quite quick? I think that's what James had with the 2 Point. I think you.
Yeah, it does, because the first few kind of campuses, if you like, they introduce different elements of the game. So after you've started building and employing kind of a team, you can then teach new skills and upgrade machinery, and it layers it on. So later on, you they throw into a hospital, they throw more patients at you with different ailments, and this one they throw more students at you with different needs and different objectives, because you're always working to objectives. You're trying to get 3 stars with every campus. If you get 1 star, you're allowed to move on to the next, so you can choose to play on or stay on the campus you're on, and it saves each individual campus as you go along, so you can go back to them to try and earn more stars at a later date. But yeah, it does. It's not a sharp incline. It layers it on, walks you through it, but then it does start to get really challenging towards the later levels. Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you, Darren. Paul, you got another one, haven't you?
Can I just check? Is this a game for me, Gareth?
No. I'm going for no on this one.
Okay, good. That's all I need to know. Whether if Gareth says I can play it, then I'll play it. If not, then forget it.
If we can have people can write in and ask if it's a game for Paul. We can list games.
I think this could be a new service that you could offer. People could just write in, "Dear Gareth, would I like this game?" No.
Or just you. Just say, would The Legend of Zelda be a game for Paul? When I just say yes or no? Yes, I think for that one.
Absolutely, yes. You're absolutely right.
See, I told you.
You're awesome. Right. For my second one, because I'm not sure about embargoes, I'm going to talk about the new DLC pack for Sniper Elite 5.
Oh, Jesus.
Called Landing Force. Well, it's to give it its full title, it's the Landing Force Mission and Weapon Pack.
Wow, that does sound like something from the 80s.
Basically, what it does is it gives you a new mission and 2 new guns. The mission is a good old size, and it's based on kids from the 70s and 80s will remember the Guns of Navarone. Do you remember that film, Gareth?
I do remember that film, yeah.
I think the others will be too young. But, it's based on that, where the Nazis have taken over an entire island, which used to be like a luxury resort, hollowed out the cliffside and fitted 2 massive cannons to it. So basically anything that tries to sail from England to France will get blown out of the water. So obviously we have to go in there, put these guns out of commission, and basically just tidy up and shoot lots of Nazis in the face. The weapons that you get a new sniper rifle, which is a very quiet, sneaky peeky one. And you get a new submachine gun, which is anything but subtle. And other than that, it's more Sniper Elite 5, which is always a good thing. So, yes, any questions, gentlemen? And no, you can't fall in love.
I think you would like this game, Paul. This is one of the games you would like.
Do you know what, Gareth? I think you're right.
Oh, dear. I have a question, Paul.
Yes, Darren.
So there's only one mission. How long is the mission, roughly, would you say?
It depends on what you do. If you choose to run from point to point, it'll be over in about 20 minutes.
Oh, wow.
But one of the beauties of the Sniper Elite missions is that if you spend a bit more time and explore, you can come across optional objectives that you can do. Right. So going around and finding documents will say, oh dear, there's a load of anti-aircraft guns there, so then you have to go and get rid of those, and so on and so on. So I think running around and doing it properly for review, it must have took me an hour and a half.
Oh, okay.
Good. How much is it?
£11 something, I think.
Right.
Or it's part of the season pass if you've bought that.
Okay. Good. Any more questions about Sniper Elite 5 DLC?
No.
No. You've answered that beautifully, Paul.
Cool. Thanks,
done everything
mate.
we need to do. I think we're going to move on to do some. I don't really want much news, but I think we're just going to. We had one thing really, which was the Annapurna Interactive Showcase that happened when we finished last week. Just got maybe a few things that we've seen we liked we can chat about. Darren, what was it? Anything you liked first of all? Maybe talk about one game first of all, and then we'll just go round our group. What's the caught your eye?
Definitely. I really enjoy the Annapurna showcases. Well, the second, it's only the second, but the last two they've done. I think they talk to me and you, Gareth, in terms of what games we like, but very person-centered, story-driven, beautiful-looking games. And I always find them really intriguing. I enjoy them almost more than any other showcase, I've got to admit. And there were some crackers this year. I think one that kind of really caught my eye for numerous reasons was this Thirsty Suitors, which we were talking about earlier, which looks like a combination between a fighting game, a love sim, you can go skateboarding. It's just a bit mad, really. Kind of set in South Asia, I think it was. And the kind of combat, if you can call it that, can end in kind of a lover's reunion or just a bit of a ceasefire in terms of wars of words and that. They are mad. And there was a bit of gameplay they showed where one of the men that was fighting a female character, he retreated into his kind of dream world where his ego was like his ultimate shield, and how she overcome it was to summon the mother to give him a good telling off, and then that kind of broke that down, and it just looks wonderfully ridiculous. So that really caught my eye. I'm very much intrigued by that, and I think was that one that was coming to Game Pass as well.
Yeah. I think it was, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because there were a few, and I thought, wow, that's really interesting. So I'm very intrigued by that.
It reminded me a little bit of. Have you seen the film and the comic book Scott Pilgrim versus the World?
Yeah,
it has that kind of similar vibe of like you're fighting your exes and all that stuff. It has that feel to it. Yeah, no, it does look great. It looks really good. James, did you have one you want to chat about?
I mean, that was the biggest standout for me, but I did quite like the look of the Lost World. Lost Wild, sorry. The dinosaur one. It honestly felt like I was watching a Jurassic Park game. Like when Jurassic Park was decent back in the 90s. It's crazy how well it looked to capture that tension and that little bit of horror in being the world surrounded by dinosaurs. I just like the look of it.
Yeah, it looked good
I
as well.
don't know when it's coming out now.
No, I don't think we got anything on that one, did we? Also, reminds me of
Steam as well.
Yeah. I think it was Steam first. But I think it will come to consoles, won't it? I can't imagine it staying.
Yes, it was wild.
Yeah, and it reminded me a little bit of Dino Crisis as well, which everyone's been crying out for as well. It's a little bit of puzzle stuff.
Oh, yeah. Dino Crisis. Now you're talking. Can we talk about that instead of Annapurna?
No, you can't, because you're next, Paul. What's your game, Paul? What must have been one that you picked. What did you pick out?
I didn't actually take, because I mean I will check with the authorities in a minute whether or not these are games that I will play. But I didn't actually take very much from the gameplay side of it. I actually found it more interesting seeing the people behind the games. You know, like the three fellas that are sat in an apartment saying, if we really concentrate, we can knock this out by morning, sort of thing. I thought it was quite interesting seeing the people that are making these games rather than just, a sizzle reel of whatever it was. I mean, Thirsty Suitor looked absolutely ridiculous. The dinosaur one looked pretty good. But there was a load of other ones that I just thought, this has got Gareth's review written all over it. But yeah, I mean, So, what do you think, Gareth? Do I like Annapurna?
I think you'll like The Lost Wild. I thought that straight away. I thought you might also like Bounty Star. I think you might get on with that as well.
Yes, giant mechs.
Yeah.
Anything with giant mechs and firepower is right up my alley. So, yeah, I'll change my answer. My favourite game was the one called Bounty Star. I don't know if you gentlemen saw that.
Tell us more about that.
It looked like the main character was ripped straight out of Overwatch and Diva, in that it's a lady who gets in a big mech and runs around and shoots things. But other than that, yeah, I mean, but honestly, I thought the meeting the developers and seeing what they were doing.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Like the two guys who'd never met, but they made a company, and then all of a sudden, one flew across the country to see the other and stuff. It was like all heartwarming and very worthy, I thought.
Yeah. Yeah, good. Well done, Paul.
Thanks, mate.
I'm going to say, I think you mentioned the kind of standouts there. I'm going to just quickly say maybe Hindsight, I really like the look of, and that's coming to Switch now. I think it's tomorrow, August 4th, and smartphones. And Flock reminded me of Flower. Do you remember Flower on the PlayStation 3?
No.
It was made by the people who made Journey in the end.
I saw Flock and I just thought, what is this?
It reminded me of that kind of thing of just this journey and then you pick things up as you go along. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I like the look of this. But there's loads of games there. What's kind of interesting as well is there's 3 PlayStation 5 games that are coming to Xbox now. The Pathless, Solar Ash. I think Solar Ash is coming to Game Pass.
Oh, that looks good.
And that's got some nice reviews. And Marquette. Is it Marquette? Marquette. And that's a really great game. That's really, really great. That was on PlayStation 5 and that's coming over to Xbox as well. So that goes to Game Pass as well. Oh, is it on Game Pass as well? Brilliant. Yeah. I'd really recommend. I had such a great time with that. It's a fantastic game. It's a kind of story narrative, but a puzzle game. But it's really unusual gameplay mechanics where it's about perspective, about models. Like you might go into I don't know how to explain. You might go into a doll's house, but you're seeing what you're playing around in the doll's house is in large in front of you. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely
not. No. So you might open a door in the doll's house, and then a door in real life will open in front of you. So it's like all about perspective and.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Is it one for me?
I think you might like this one. I think you should take a risk with this one. Yeah,
I'll take a chance.
Take a chance. Good. Yeah, we like that showcase. It's very good. Anything else want to say before we move on?
Well, I know James has got something, hasn't he?
Well, Darren's got one as well. Darren, what do you want? Pick one more, Darren.
I was just going to say, as an overall kind of reflection, I was very impressed, and I like the format where they go round the world and show off all the different developers, like Paul said. I thought they packed a lot into 25 minutes, and there's a lot of talent working with that studio at the moment, the publisher. So, really good.
James, anything before I move on?
No, I just agree with Darren. I mean, they've got a real diverse collection of games there, and I like it.
Yeah.
Give me more.
James has got, in other news, there's Blackpink, the famous South Korean band that James loves. They've got a video out that's linked to PUBG World for some unknown reason. I still can't work out. And
in-game content.
God,
minutes.
And there's a sort of video of them. I don't think there's much else to say about that. Even James is struggling with it.
Watch it.
All I want to say is, who do I apply to get the 3 minutes of my life back that I wasted watching that video?
Yeah.
You should ask Gareth if he liked it first, Paul.
Well, do you know what? This was before he was offering this service.
I see.
In other news, which is kind of really unusual, it's a little bit of film news, but I think it's slightly connected. We were talking about Batgirl last week with the Gotham Knights trailer, and the film Batgirl, which cost £90 million, has been completed and made. And Warner Brothers said this week that it's never going to see the light of day. It's never going to go in the cinema. It's never going to be streamed. It's been put to bed, even though it's been made. And for DC, we've had a big chat about DC work here before, and it's a really interesting because DC are in a little bit of trouble with stuff. They've not had that connection, but this is quite a rare thing. It's really rare for films just to be made completely and just never see the light of day, especially something that's cost $90 million and is in a DC. That kind of it's more in, it happens a lot with indie films, but yeah, it's been cancelled. Now the two reasons are, first reasons were it's terrible. That was one of the reasons. That was the first reason that
Don't
came out.
sugarcoat it,
Yeah.
Gareth. Come on.
But
Like it is.
that was the first bit, and then the other news came out that it's to do with a merger. It wasn't to do with this. It was to do with Warner Brothers. Basically, are in a little bit of trouble, and they're merging their stocks. If they get rid of this off the slate, it's like a tax write-off. So they can do it and have it against losses. So, and at the moment on their HBO Max, which is a subscription service in America, which is their big thing, they've taken a lot of films off there as well because they can't afford it at the moment. So there's a slight thing about people are sort of, there's a big argument whether this is to do with it was a really bad film, or as well was it to do with, it might be a combination of both. Any thoughts from you two? Three?
I mean, this is one for you, Paul. It feels a bit. It is unprecedented if it's a bad film, because plenty of bad films have been released, and to get pretty much to the end of its development process and then just get shelved, I still struggle to understand. So maybe there is some truth in the financials behind it. Who knows? I mean, I know there was some talk around, because wasn't Michael Keaton's Batman supposed to be in it randomly?
Yeah.
So there was worries around what it would do to the characters. I mean, I don't think there was a TV series of Batgirl, I think, that wasn't received too well either. So I think maybe they're a bit worried that they were going to do damage to the character. But I don't know. I think it's unusual, to say the least.
And there is another big thing as well. It's when you have a movie, you're probably spending 40-50 million on promoting it. Mm-hmm. So there might, and that normally goes into their budget with all the kind of like tie-ins, everything else. You know, the doll. It's whether all that stuff is, you know, do they save money on that? Is that just do we even go down that road? So, but yeah, it's a strange. James, you're a DC fan. Upset by this?
Yeah, I can't believe that they wouldn't just release it as planned on the streaming platform. If it's that bad, at least you'll get some interest for it. At least there's some content on HBO Max. I'll bring it on there. I don't know whether it could be a case of, because Michael Keaton's in it, they wanted him in the Flash film first. And with that up in the air, do you hold this back until then, and then have him, you know, appear in Batgirl afterwards? It seems very weird to put him in that, to be honest.
I think they've said it's never going to happen. It's never going to be seen. It's gone.
We'll see. I think there'll be some kind of... I think it could be a clever strategy to get people to go, no, we want it.
Yeah, I don't think
anyone's... Really?
Don't think anyone's shouting out for that at the moment.
It'll be like the Snyder Cut all over again if it does get some fan service.
I think people are into, you know, the big thing people are saying, because who's the guy who plays the Flash?
Ezra Miller.
Yeah, he's on the run from the police still, isn't he? So no one can believe that's getting released.
Never going to catch him, are they? So.
Darren, very good. Very good.
Yeah. He's had problems a few times.
Yeah.
In the media and that, it's been quite well documented. And yet they still then put him in the Flash TV show and still carried on making the Flash film.
Yeah.
I don't know what they expected, really.
No.
They get what they deserve, really.
That's what James says. We finished on that. James says they get what they deserve.
Well, they're sorry to put in. Isn't the next series, The Flash, going to be the last one as well?
Oh no, it's
any TV series.
Yeah, yes, it is.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, they're finishing season 9. I mean, also for that all that TV stuff, the Arrowverse, in a sense, that's all finishing now.
Okay.
So they've got a. I think they need a big reboot. DC. Right, we're going to go because we haven't got much time. Is Paul's quiz? It's exciting. Here we go, Paul. I hand over to you.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much, Gareth. It's lovely to see you all here. What I've done is taken some reviews that Gareth has done this year. So, Gareth, you may have a little bit of a advantage here. And basically, I have taken the titles of the games, run them through Google Translate into German, and I will read out the German phrase, and you guys have to guess which game I am talking about. Is that all sufficiently clear?
Good.
Yes.
Yes? Happy with that?
I'm really
Splendid. Yeah. Right. Can we have a quick check of the buzzers, please, gentlemen? Gareth? Darren?
Buzz.
And James.
And me and Darren are too close together. We had this last time. What did I do last time? I changed it. I went into
Waka Waka.
Waka Waka.
Good. I remember listening to that and thinking, I really hope he uses Waka Waka when it's my turn to be the quizmaster. Excellent. I can't wait.
Good.
Right. Are we ready then, gentlemen?
Yes, we are.
Do we do rollover points?
We can do if nobody gets it. Absolutely.
Good.
I have prepared 15 titles, so that should be enough. That's almost Gareth's entire output for the year. So, right then, here we go with question number 1. The German phrase is der Steinbruch.
Let's see where this quiz is going.
So, it's going to all be playful. We'll get to the end and it'll be 0-0-0 with a 15-point rollover.
Can you say it again, Paul?
I can say it again, Gareth. The German phrase is der Steinbruch. The ch is very important. That sounded like Darren.
I have no idea, so I'm going to guess the Outer Wilds.
No, good guess though. Anybody else like to try?
I've got no German knowledge at all. I thought you did O-level German, James.
O-level?
Oh, he's not that old.
I did a bit of German for like 1 year. I remember Kino.
Okay.
Bingo.
Okay, good. Hopefully we get a bingo one. None of us know.
Excellent. Would you like to pass then, gentlemen?
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Very good. Right, we'll make it a rollover. And the answer was, of course, The Quarry.
Ah.
Yeah,
right. Come on, Gareth. These are all games you reviewed, for goodness sake.
Now we know what the quarry means in German. Now let's keep that on our heads.
Don't forget that.
That's a clue to figure out the next one.
Yeah, we know the.
Yeah. Yes, we know that. We know the. Question number 2 for 2 points. The German phrase is "fast mein Boden." Apologies to any German listeners.
No idea. Anyone?
I'm scared to take a guess, to be honest.
Would you like the phrase again? Would that help?
I don't know if it will.
Right. The phrase is "fast mein Boden."
My beautiful car. I don't know.
You didn't buzz, but I'll take it.
Yeah,
no,
good.
That's not it.
Come on, James.
Come on, James. Come on, Darren.
Can I have it one more time?
"Fast mein Boden."
Boden. Go on, you guys first, Darren.
Such a cowardly customer.
I don't know. Forza Horizon 5.
No, it's not that. I can't even say good guess.
Oh.
Papa.
James.
I'm trying to think of all the games we've reviewed. Is it House Builder?
No.
Ooh.
That is at least a game that Gareth reviewed.
Yeah, I can remember.
Right.
That.
The answer for Fastmine Bowden is Almost My Floor.
Oh,
I don't even
There you
remember
go.
that game.
Obviously, you've
Is
not
that a
been
real
reading.
game?
It is a real game.
Yeah.
Gareth reviewed it.
Yeah.
Right. Question number 3 for 3 points. I can see a pattern here. The German phrase is "wird allein sterben."
How many have you got?
Only four. You got 15.
I've got 15.
Maybe we could get it down to 10. I think.
Okay, we'll take it down to 10 then, because by the time you lot have finished giggling like a bunch of schoolgirls, we'll be out of time.
Yeah. Okay. Can we give it?
"Wird allein sterben."
James.
Get under that bus, James.
Well,
James.
Is it Weird Line Sterling?
"Wird allein sterben" is the German phrase. I could do with it in English.
Oh, sorry, I didn't understand the rules. No, I don't know. Pass.
Anybody?
I'm gonna pass.
Darren?
I'll buzz in. I don't
Go
know if
on.
Gareth reviewed this. Sorry. Power Wash Simulator.
No,
Oh.
it wasn't. The actual title was "Will Die Alone," which I thought you might have got from a line, because a line and alone are not massively different. But anyway.
It means something different in English.
Where's the pronunciation?
The pronunciation is flawless, thank you.
We're picking up some of the words now. Good. That might help us.
Real. Okay.
Okay.
If the last game's the cinema, then I've got it. So let's go.
Brilliant. Yes, the Bahnhof. Right. Question number 4 for 4 points. Flucht aus der Hölle. No Googling what Gareth has reviewed either.
I can hear everyone Google.
I can hear somebody clicking on the keyboard.
No, I'm not.
I'm just going to Google what you're saying. It's going to what are you writing?
Excellent. Yeah, what are you on?
No clue.
I've got no clue.
For God's sake.
I don't know.
Okay. Evasion from Hell was the answer.
You know what I mean?
Flucht aus
der Hölle. It is a game. I'm telling you. Right.
That's like my games.
I've got big hopes for question number 6.
Good.
But we've got question number 5 first for 5 points, surprisingly. And the German phrase is "gebrochener Verstand." James.
Broken Mind.
It is Broken
Well
Mind,
done,
mate.
James.
Well done.
James. Well done, James.
Fantastic.
You've won
I remember
yours.
the stand. Stand.
Brilliant.
Thank God for
So
that.
James is currently winning 5-0.
I win.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
well
do
done,
pretty
James.
much. People can only catch you up.
That's
Right then. So question number 6. I've got big hopes for you with this one, guys.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Der Pizzabote, der die Welt gerettet hat. You have to let me finish the phrase, James. I've been working on this for a long time. Go on, James.
The pizza boy who stole the world.
I can't accept it, I'm afraid.
Waka waka.
Oh,
Gareth.
The pizza boy who saved the world.
No, I will give you that. It's actually the pizza delivery boy who saved the world. I'll have to.
Thank you, Paul.
Because otherwise he'll have no points. For God's sake. Right. You know when something seems like a really good idea until you put it into practice? You know, it's like die.
We could have told you. We were telling you.
Right. Anyway.
We had 4 weeks of telling you this.
You lot are rubbish. Right. Question number 7.
Yeah.
Der Schlangenschurke.
I think I've seen that film.
It must have been in one of those. It was one of those special interest cinemas.
Oh God!
I suppose quite a lot of it depends on if you know what Schlangen is.
I'm passing.
I think that's a no.
Yeah, I'll take that as a no, shall I? Any clue, Darren?
I don't have a clue. Sorry.
Okay, the answer is, of course, the serpent rogue. Schlangen is German for snake. So there you go. Now you've learned something. Right. This one I've got hopes for as well, because this is quite simple.
Good.
Bester Monat aller Zeiten.
Oh, okay, James.
James.
Best month ever.
That's correct. Well done, mate. You are the greatest.
I got so excited there that I knew it.
And you would you almost fell over your words.
No, it said it in French.
That would have been cool. Right. Question number 9. It's currently James 6, Gareth 1, Darren 0. Question number 9. In meinem Schatten.
I'm passing again. Would you believe it?
I wouldn't believe it. Come on, Darren, you've got a chance here.
I can't even think.
Pass down.
What the last word means.
Pass down.
I'm gonna have to pass because I don't know.
Okay. In meinem Schatten is, of course, in my shadow. Right then. Question number 10 for 2 points. Yes. And I forgot I took a point off you there, I'm afraid, James, because you got one that was 2 points. So it's currently 7 to James, 1 to Gareth, and 2 points to play for. So if you get this, you could win, Darren. Are you ready?
Well, not win, but yeah, okay.
Well, you can beat Gareth and not come left.
There's no winners today.
We're all winners. Right. Last one. Fingers on buzzers.
Yep.
The German phrase is Hausbauer. That sounded like Darren to me.
Darren, you got it. Go on, Darren.
No, I didn't buzz.
Right.
Oh, in that case, it was James.
House builder.
It is House Builder, mate. Well done.
Yay.
You're the greatest. So it's 9 points to James. Bitches there.
Well done,
9
Paul.
points to James, 1 point to Gareth, no points to Darren. So there we go.
Well done, everyone.
I think we've gone out on a high there.
Oh, yeah.
Because this will be the last ever podcast.
Well done, Paul, for putting that together.
Thanks, mate. It wasn't easy.
It wasn't easy, no.
Nice, it's a good laugh.
I'd like to apologise
to be a serious quiz
to our listeners. Fantastic. Gentlemen, before we go, what are you looking forward to next week? James, what are you looking forward to?
Lots of gaming. I've got to spend some more time with Digimon Survive and AI Some New Files, the sequel. Lots of gaming.
Good. That's good. That's good. Darren, what about you?
Some gaming. We're going to a gin and rum festival on Saturday night, which will be fun. Wow. And continue tidying the loft, which has been my pet project this week.
Don't do it after the gin and rum festival, though.
That might be the only way I can get through it.
Awesome.
Yeah, you're mad. Paul, what about you?
I don't know about what I'm going to do next week, but as soon as I've finished on this podcast, I'm going to the Chippy because I am Mike Marvin. Oh. That's all I can think about at the moment.
Good.
Yeah, me too.
There you go, James as well. What am I doing? I might look forward to watching The Sandman. It's on Netflix this week, based on the graphic novel game that's coming on the 4th. Maybe it's today. And that's it. But gentlemen, now if we want to get hold of you, Paul, where would we get hold of you?
You can find me on the Twitter, and my handle is at TheXboxHubPaul.
And James?
I'm on Twitter and Instagram, and my tag is at OKUKO.
And do you not have a handle?
Not for your eyes.
And for Darren?
I'm on Twitter, and mine handle is at 27Darren.
Brilliant.
Thank you. And you can find me at GB Briley. But for now, gentlemen, I'll free to say, we will see you.
Auf Wiedersehen, pet.
We'll see you. We'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
You've been listening to the official podcast of TheXboxHub.com. You'll be able to find all the notes of the show at www.TheXboxHub.com/podcast. You can also check out our social feeds on Instagram and Twitter at The Xbox Hub, and search for The Xbox Hub on Facebook.